Hey, what's up everybody? This is just a little bit of a response, if you will, to some of the things that this one guy, I can't think of his name right now, but this one guy who, I mentioned him in my previous video, says he knows sources close to TNA, and like I said in that video, unless somebody provides proof that he's not telling the truth about that, then all we can do is take him for his word. And honestly, I do take him for his word. Honestly, I do. I really do. I honestly take him for his word. Now, here's the thing. One of the things he talked about was the fact that with the return of Booker T and Kevin Nash to WWE, he talked about the fact that a lot of fans always bash guys like a Nash and a Booker T, and currently bash guys like a Jeff Hardy or a Matt Hardy or a Hulk Hogan or even an Eric Bischoff, all because they go to TNA when they shouldn't. I mean, they even bash the likes of Steiner and a few others, but they always bash them every time they go to TNA. Or even Ring of Honor. I mean, Ring of Honor right now has Shelton Benjamin and Charlie Haas, and I'm pretty sure there are some people out there that are probably bashing that as well. I'm not saying they are, but here's the thing. Here's the thing why people always bash, in my opinion, always bash the likes of a Kevin Nash or a Scott Steiner or Hulk Hogan or an Eric Bischoff or the Hardys or whoever else goes in there, even a Sting, if you will, and a Ric Flair. They even bash them. Here's why they do this, and this may come not as a shock to a lot of people. This may not come as a shock to a lot of people, but the reason, to me, that they bash them, the reason they bash them, this is just my opinion. It's just my opinion as to why they bash them. Just my opinion. It's the fact that, well, they feel as though TNA, places like TNA and Ring of Honor are places for the young up-and-coming guys that in a place like WWE wouldn't get equal opportunities. They wouldn't get it. They wouldn't get it at all. They would not get these opportunities if they went to World Wrestling Entertainment. That is why they bash guys like Kevin Nash and Booker T and Scott Steiner and Kurt Angle, and even Taz has probably gotten bashed for it. This is why they bash them. Hell, they even bashed EV2, like Tommy Dreamer and Sabu and Raven. The reason they bash them is, to them, TNA is like I said, TNA and places like TNA and Ring of Honor are supposed to be, like I said, for the young up-and-coming guys, those that wouldn't get an equal opportunity. And the reason they bash them is because they feel as though these legends, if you will, these guys that should, as some people be said, be put out to pasture or should hang it up, should just leave the business to the younger guys, which I do agree on some occasions. The reason they bash them is because they feel, like I said, they're still in the spotlight from these guys, and that they're putting these young guys on the back burner. But another thing he brought up, let me check my time, okay. Another thing he brought up was the fact that when these guys that I mentioned, like a Nash, like a Steiner, like a Booker, like a Hogan, like a Kurt Angle, like a Taz, like a Hardy, Jeff or Matt, when these guys, like a Hogan, like a Bischoff, like a Haas and a Benjamin, when these guys go back to WWE, they're all like, yay, they're back, look, hey man, he's back, he's better than ever, kind of deal. The reason they do that, the reason these fans do that is not because they're hypocrites. It's because to them, WWE, a place like WWE, is where those guys belong and where those guys should stay. That's why they say these things. That's why they say these things. Now, here's the thing. They also cheer and go crazy over the fact that someone like say an AJ or an AJ Styles was to go there, or Samoa Joe was to go there, they'd probably go a little crazy, but maybe not as much. Because the reason they wouldn't go as crazy and probably not as much as they would for somebody like a Kong going there, is for one reason. They're afraid AJ and Joe would suffer the same fate that right now Tyler Black, the former Ring of Honor champion, is suffering in WWE, I guess, in their minds, and that's being put in developmental territories like FCW. And these fans of AJ and Joe, yeah, they would love for them to go to WWE. There's no doubt about that, but only if WWE put them on the main roster immediately and push them to the moon like they're doing with someone like an Alberto Del Rio. But the reason they're not as crazy for that is because they know in their hearts, or they believe in their hearts, that AJ and Joe would end up in Florida Championship Wrestling first, which is where, again, they feel they shouldn't be, and that if they went to WWE, they should be automatically called up to the main roster. Now, again, checking my time here, again, here's the thing. But again, here's the thing. That is why, guys like, that is why, like I said, some people are not in a hurry to kind of suggest, oh, Joe, go to WWE, or Joe or Styles, go to WWE. They're not in a hurry to say that because they believe, like I said, they'll just be sent down to FCW first. I mean, it's the same thing with Daniel Bryan. Daniel Bryan was in FCW when he began, but he wasn't there forever. He got called up to the main roster. Yes, he was let go, but we're not sure if that was a work shoot or not, or legit. That's still up in the air. They're never going to say. But still, he got called up real quickly, if you will. And he was placed in a major storyline right off the bat. So, again, I know that's what people are afraid of. That's what fans are afraid of. And you know what? They do have a right to be afraid about that, but the truth is, there's nothing really you could do if it happens. If it was to happen, that is. But again, like I said, that is why fans are not in a hurry to jump on the bandwagons for Styles and guys like Styles and Joe to go to WWE, because they know exactly what could happen. And this is also why people are always bashing guys like I said, Nash and Booker and Hogan and the Hardys and Angle and Sting and Taz and Steiner and the list could go on, and Tommy Dreamer and EV2. This is why they bash them, because they feel their time is done, and they shouldn't. They don't just feel their time is done, but they also feel, hey, you guys shouldn't be in TNA. You're stealing the spotlight from these younger guys. You're putting them on the back burner. You're making them look like jobbers. You should be in your promotion. You should be in WWE, and you should stay there. That's their response. That's why they bash them. And that's why they always cheer them when they go back to WWE, like they do with Nash and Booker this past Sunday. Because that's their promotion. That's what made them the stars. That's what put their names on the map. And according to those fans that bash them for going to TNA and then cheer them for being back in WWE, that's because that's the promotion, like I said, that made a name for them, and that's where they should stay put and never leave. That's why they bash them. That's why, in my opinion, they get bashed for going to a place like TNA or Ring of Honor, but then get cheered when they go back to the WWE. It's the same thing with a TNA guy. If a TNA guy, let's take Kazarian for example. He had a brief cup of tea in WWE in its cruiserweight division, but didn't go anywhere. And yet he came back. And when he came back to TNA, they embraced it. Because that was his home promotion. That's where he made a name for himself. He goes to WWE, it's like, oh look, Kazarian, he's in WWE, great. You know, he made it to the big leagues. But then, you know, it's like they don't care. It's like, you know, well, he's not going to really be anything there. And that obviously turned out to be true. But still, you get the idea of what I'm saying, right? Get the idea of what I'm saying. So, again, that is why overall people, like I said, bash guys like Kevin Nash and Booker T and Scott Steiner and Kurt Angle and Hogan and the Hardys and Bischoff and Taz and Sting and Flair. It's because they feel as though those guys have had their opportunities. They need to have the opportunities. They've made names for themselves, and they shouldn't step foot in TNA. And if they do step in TNA, they should only be there to help the young superstars, not to take the spotlight for them. But overall, that's why they bash them. And then again, that's why they cheer them when they go back to WWE, because like TNA is the hometown, homegrown promotion of an AJ Styles and whatever. That's where they belong. So that's all I'm going to say. Tell me what you guys think.